Hey everyone, welcome to my channel, Spiritual Dowsy. I'm Dowsy LeMay. I hope all you beautiful souls out there are doing okay wherever you are in the world. And thank you for taking time out of your busy day to watch these videos. I hope that they're helpful and supportive as you go through your own journey. So today is January 18th, 2021, and it is Martin Luther King Day. And normally I would do a Sunday video, Sunday spiritual chat, but I wanted to wait till today to talk about the energies and what I experienced and deliver a couple messages for you guys as we move into this week. So before I go any further, know that these are my truths, my experiences that have guided me down my own spiritual path. They don't have to be yours. Use your own discernment. Take what resonates with you and leave the rest. Okay, so today is Martin Luther King Day, the celebration of the civil rights movement, spearheaded by obviously Martin Luther King. And I find it very interesting and synchronistically that has to befall on a week in which we are going to be going into the inauguration of the president this week. And so last week I did a video called Freedom and the 144. And I spoke about freedom in that and why freedom for some reason was being brought to the forefront in my mind via the George Michael song, hit 90 song Freedom. And I wonder why that's coming about. And synchronistically, it comes out on this day. And what was this day about, right? Fighting for freedoms, fighting for rights. And it's almost like we are revisiting, we are recycling through something. And we are having to look at this energy yet again, but in a more balanced approach, right? Because before it was a lot of non-violent protesting, but the violence brought onto that group was very, very intense and very difficult to even witness. Lots of violence, a lot of harm that was brought to them, but the power and the truth of the people will always be brought to the forefront, right? The power of what the people desire shall always come to the forefront as long as that truth remains at a higher vibration compared to those lower vibrational things that were core to people's beliefs back then. Now, to me, it certainly feels like this is a time for to free ourselves of the old patterns, right? It is a time of us to go deep within ourselves and to free a lot of the energetics that we have been playing around with as an old pattern that we don't necessarily resonate with anymore. And so it needs to be integrated, it needs to be revisited. And this particular day happens to be synchronistically with what's happening with the presidency, right? This is very, very much what I said in my January energy update, is that we are having a dichotomy, basically a separation of two different realities, right? And one group is certainly thinking of one certain set of ideals, and the other one is certainly believing in a certain set of ideals, and that feels like it's being revisited yet again. Here we are. So I want to talk about a dream that I had last night, and what I kept seeing and what I kept hearing was the word Molotov. Molotov cocktails, many of you guys know, is just like this, I don't know, like a petrol bomb, if you will. It's inside like a bottle, and it has like a cloth that you light and you throw, and it becomes like this fire bomb. So I kept seeing that, I kept hearing it, and it felt like I was seeing familiar faces around this particular idea. And so what I expect and what potentially could happen down the road is whatever transpires, there may be, when I think of Molotovs, what do you think of? Riots? You think of some type of uprising. I expect, or I would think that perhaps that an uprising or riot may occur, and we are going to see people that we know that we are close with who are going to be wrapped up in this. So be mindful of yourselves as you go through this, because it is no coincidence that Martin Luther King Day falls on this. The inauguration is coming on this. I had a dream about freedoms. I had a dream about Molotovs. And we're being called to this idea of fighting for our freedoms. And that's going to lead to perhaps some outrage where we may find people that we know are going to be wrapped up in it. And it's going to be a highly conflictive point where, like someone may throw a Molotov cocktail onto it and cause the whole thing to really explode. So just be mindful of that. Doesn't mean that it's completely true, just something that, my dreams sometimes have some insight, a little bit of prognosis of what we could be dealing with as we go forward. So just something to be mindful of. In addition, I want to let you know that the energetics are really coming in pretty profoundly, and that means that your body is starting to really assimilate and transmute and alchemize a lot of the light that's coming in. So what that means is that your body may be doing a lot of shifting around. Your energetics might be doing a lot of shifting around. So be prepared to see a lot of old baggage stuff be kind of ripped out of you, and you have to confront that and integrate that as you go along. So hopefully that helps you. And what I always like to do is I like to talk about the energies going in for the rest of the week. And what I can say is that I always say that the spiritual journey is a hike up an endless mountain. And this week in particular is that we are going to really need to be diligent. We're going to really need to work, and we're really going to need to focus on that path and understand that it's going to be work. We're going to need to do a lot of work this week, because the mountain of which we are traversing at this point for a lot of us, it's going to be a very difficult terrain for many of you guys on the spiritual path. It feels like you are coming up to a transition or a part of your hike that's going to be very treacherous. It's going to be very steep and very difficult to climb. And so what that means is that you're going to really have to put your diligence in it. You're going to have to really focus. You're going to have to really work at yourselves as you work through this time period. And if you become somewhat a little bit overwhelmed, or have a difficult time, or feel like a little bit lost, or losing faith, remember that although your path is singular and solo and solitary, you're not actually doing it alone. There's a lot of people out there. And so during those times, if you're feeling like you're really having a difficult time and you're falling backwards through this week, be mindful you have friends. You have other spiritually connected communities that you can reach out to help you or give you some energy to help you move through this time period in a little bit easier fashion. So just be mindful that this is going to be a time where you're going to be really working on your spiritual path. It's going to be feeling like, your hike right now up your spiritual mountain is is endless. It's infinite. But this particular time frame, we're going to be going through a very treacherous, hard, and difficult terrain. And I want you to remember that if you get overwhelmed and you're overworked, to perhaps ask for some help. Rely on some people that can help raise your frequency, keep your spirits high as you go along. Because right now, there's lots of energy that's available for you to really help you propel your ideas going forward if they're aligned with the higher vibrational platform, right? Things that are more heart-based, that are more love and compassion, and suited for more of the open source type of energy, right? That doesn't become readily available to you unless you yourself are willing to go inward and work on yourself, and to I would say honor the emotions that are coming up, honor the experiences that are showing you the trauma that needs to be healed. You won't be able to have access to this energy. You'll just be stuck in the old platform dealing with a lot of resistance. And so what we have to be mindful is that we have to be devoted and loyal to our beliefs. But in this time period, it is behooving for you to sometimes to say, all right, maybe I can't be so stubborn and just work diligently with my head down. It's time for you to kind of look up and say, are my beliefs, are the things that I'm doing, are the things that I feel energetically align with what I truly want? And so what we're going to find is what plays out for the rest of the week could cause you to become more of a hermit, right? A hermit in the idea is that the outside world will cease to be any sense of guidance for you guys to go forward, right? You're not going to get a lot of information. In fact, you're probably going to get a bunch of conflicting information because there's two separate realities occurring in our reality. So you're going to have to find out what makes the most sense for you, and that's not going to be very easy if you're relying on the outside world. It is going to be incumbent on you guys to go inward like a hermit and to find the answers within yourself, utilizing your critical thinking as well as your intuition to find the guidance in the true path of what is really good for you as an individual going forward and creating your reality. That's the energy that we're going to be working with, right? So you're having this whole identity around really getting pushed on our spiritual journey. You're really going to have to go through some difficult time period at this period, but not to forget that you have friends who are going along the same journey with you. But although your journey yourself is yours alone, you're not doing it alone. In those times where you're feeling overwhelmed or overworked, it's a good idea to reach out and see if somebody can help you raise your spirits as you go along, because the energy is there. The energy is like a wind to your back, but you can't get that unless you look inward and you work on your traumas, you work on yourselves, but you can't find that guidance outside. You just can't. There's two different worlds occurring right now with two totally vastly different information, and for you to figure out which one makes the most truth to you isn't going to happen unless you go inward, become a hermit, and integrate that energy. Utilize your critical thinking, utilize your intuition to really come to your own truth so that you can move forward in a more authentic and confident way as you go along. So what I can say is, as you go along today for this week also, is your root chakra is going to continue to be activated, part of which is because you're going to be questioning your path. You've been questioning your path, right? It's spiritual hike, the spiritual journey, the up the endless mountain. It's a time period where it's going to test what you feel around your path and what you're supposed to be doing. Because of what's going to transpire, it's going to cause you to be a little bit shaky. It's going to unstabilize you a little bit. And you're really going to need to know that what you took out of 2020 and what you held on as a belief here has to be stable for you to go forward. So your root chakra is going to be tested, it's going to be activated, and the things that you believe to be true are going to be tested to make sure that this is what you want going forward. And as you do that process, lift your head. Don't be so stubborn to sticking to what you think you know. Open your head, lift up, look around, integrate what you have inside you, utilizing your critical thinking and your intuition to help you find, readjust or make sure that your beliefs and your core identities and the energy you're holding on to is the right energy you want going forward. So this week's going to be very intense, and certainly think it's going to continue to do that January 2020 energy update that I talked about, where a lot of unveiling and a lot of us are going to have to go inward and adjust what we believe to be our little box of attachments and beliefs, and those are going to be shattered as we go along. So if you guys have any questions, reach out to me at spiritualdestiny@gmail.com, or follow me on Instagram or my YouTube channel, or even on BitChute. I'm starting to upload videos there because some of the things that I would say from the tech giants aren't aligning with a lot of my values and principles as I go along. So I love you. Talk to you soon. Take care.